So good afternoon, everybody. BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry presents a webinar on investment opportunities in Belarus today. So we hope to gather insights from the National Agency of Investment and Privatization, Republic of Belarus, on the upcoming sectors and projects to expand in Belarus and get an understanding of the investors' roadmap on regional development in the country. Our panel consists of speakers from the agency itself today, Mr. Dmitry Krozovsky, Director of National Agency of Investment and Privatization, Mr. Vitaly Zolnarovich, Investor Support Specialist, Ms. Veronica Shavel, Regional Development Expert. I'll now request Mr. Rajesh Mehta, Governing Body Member, BRICS CCI, for his opening address. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. We at BRICS aim to raise awareness among entrepreneurs and interested parties about investment opportunities in Belarus as an initiative for a step closer to the objective of the Chamber and for the betterment of economic growth in both the countries. I'm honored to have our co-hosts, the National Agency of Investment and Privatization of the Republic of Belarus, with us. India's relations with Belarus have been traditionally warm and cordial. India was one of the first countries to recognize Belarus as an independent country in 1991. Formal diplomatic relations were established and Indian diplomatic mission in Minsk was opened in 1992. And Belarus opened its mission in New Delhi in 1998. Belarus has an honorary consulate in Kolkata and Mumbai. In 2015, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, Honorable President of India, paid a successful visit to Minsk in June, the first ever presidential visit from India to Belarus. A number of documents for cooperation in broadcasting, standardization, textiles, securities, and a roadmap for future cooperation were signed during the visit. Also signed were business agreements and MOUs for cooperation in the field of education, India's decision to grant market economy status to Belarus, and a US $100 million line of credit, $100 million line of credit were announced during the visit. Trade between India and Belarus has been consistently increasing at 15.5% since the last 2 decades. While fertilizers, minerals, or chemicals have dominated the trade between the two countries, there are immense opportunities that are opening up across a series of sectors in the country that we will get to know through the course of these events. With this, we hope that the relationship between the two countries continues to grow stronger and overcome the barriers in investment and trade that the two countries face. And Indian MSMEs get an opportunity to expand in Belarusian market, and we are able to encompass the bureaucratic bottlenecks through better connectivity, technology, and policy coordination, and enable firms to expand in Belarusian market. I heartily welcome Mr. Dmitry Krozovsky, Mr. Vitaly Zolnarovich, Ms. Veronica Shavel to our country, and I always hope that with your effort and the BRICS Chamber of Commerce effort, we will be able to do a lot of good ventures together. All the best to all of you, and let's hope for an excellent event today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your address. It has really set the tone for the program. Moving on, may I now request Mr. Dmitry Krozovsky, Director, National Agency of Investment and Privatization, Republic of Belarus, to introduce us to the agency. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I will be supervising Mr. Krozovsky's presentation, and so give me please rights of access.
Just a second.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ankita. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, starting presentation. Good afternoon. First of all, let me thank the BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing this webinar and giving my team and me the great opportunity to present Belarus. Let me briefly introduce our agency to you. And the first question I would like to answer sounds like, Who are we? Let's start from the team, because people always come first. Our team includes 34 members. As you can see, we are young. The average employee is 32 years old. So we are young enough, but experienced. Our team is able to speak the most popular languages in the world. All specialists who work with investors have fluent English. We also may communicate in Chinese. No Hindi or Portuguese speakers yet, but it's only a matter of time. What else? We work globally. All continents and countries catch our eye. Once I was asked by a student, she said, "Dmitry, you said you deal with all continents. How do you work with Antarctic continent?" I had to admit that we haven't dealt with Antarctica, so now I have to clarify every time. We reach all continents except Antarctic one, but we like Antarctic continent, nothing personal, just business. So we work quickly. It takes 48 hours in average to dive into a problem and to guide of our client. For civil servants, it's not typical. In Belarus, government bodies have up to 15 days to provide feedback. But we set our own standards and have less than 2 days for reply. For the last years, we attracted more than $130 million of investment. You may say it doesn't look like a huge amount, but if we look at the budget of the agency, we can see that for every dollar that the state invests in the agency, there are about $60 of foreign investment attracted. So what do we exactly do? We position ourselves as a one-stop shop for foreign business, which plans to work in Belarus. Many foreign companies have very general understanding of business reality of Belarus, and they need additional consulting services to understand the legislation, specifics of preferential regimes. If any business wants to join a brownfield project, we do some research, pick the most preferable existing projects, collect information about them, and arrange B2B or B2G meetings. If any business comes with an idea and is going to establish a new enterprise, so-called greenfield project, we find land plots, industrial sites, and assist at all stages. The most important thing why most investors like our agency so much is that our services are absolutely free of charge. Last year, foreign investors founded with the help of the agency 10 companies in Belarus. This is basically our main KPI. Most of created companies are related to the agriculture. It is predictable because this branch of Belarusian economy is well developed and globally competitive. For years, the team of the agency believed that working directly with foreign investors is only way to achieve main goals. Recently, we realized that it was a mistake, because acting this way, we miss out many opportunities. So now we have a different strategy. We established partnership with investment consultants from all over the world, and they, of course, they do not invest themselves, but their business is to support other businesses going globally. How do we collaborate? We exchange information of mutual interest, assist each other in organizing meetings and exchange of business delegations, in establishing direct contact between companies. At the moment, the agency has authorized 13 representatives abroad. Speaking about BRICS countries, currently we have them just in Russia and South Africa. Of course, we would be happy to get partners in other BRICS countries. Couple words about our products and activities. We strive to engage investors in doing business with Belarus and in Belarus. Each year, agency hosts the Belarus Investment Forum, or BIF. We are proud to say that the latest BIF was held last year in the International Exhibition Expo 2020 in Dubai. The keynote speaker was one of the richest Arabian businessmen and investor, Mr. Mohammed Ali Rashid Al-Abar, who made an inspiring presentation of the northern waterfront complex to be built in Minsk in the decade. We also host specific events like sports tournaments, surprising, isn't it? On an annual basis, we hold the invitational golf tournament for amateurs aimed at business circles. And we think that sport is an universal key which may help to open Belarus for foreign businessmen. We hope they will feel the vibe of the country through activities they are passionate about. The registration, by the way, for the upcoming tournament has already been started, and it's a pleasure to invite you to come to Minsk and take part in the tournament. You may see the link to the project page on your screen. So another project I would like to present is called Business Missions. It is a mixture of a business trip and tourist trip. We bring a group of people, of foreign businessmen to Belarus. I mean group from 3 to 30 members. The program of the visit is unique and tailored to the needs of the exact delegation. We arrange B2B meetings, visits, that's the business part, but it is combined with the sightseeing, cultural program, meetings with the locals, and that's the touristic part. We do this because we believe that businessmen should form their own objective opinion about Belarus based on their own experience. We would be glad to arrange such business missions for you, ladies and gentlemen, and consider this an official invitation. The agency published booklets and brochures where most promising investment projects are summarized. The most complete information can be found in the yearbook called Investor's Guidebook. We will definitely share the digital version of these booklets with you. At our website, you may also find the database of all investment projects in Belarus. This QR code leads to it. There are about 1,000 projects in this database, and I'm going to tell you in more details about each project just right now. Of course, we have no time with it. I'm kidding. The members of my team will provide you a very brief overview of the most promising projects and show you how to use our database to get relevant results for you. Thank you for your attention, and I would be glad to answer your questions during the Q&A session.
Thank you, Mr. Krozowski. I'll request the delegates and the participants who are there, they can drop in your questions in the chat box, and all the questions will be taken up at the end of the session. I'll now request Mr. Vitaly Zolnorovich to brief us about the investment opportunities in Belarus and making our viewers understand the major sectors and projects in Belarus. You can now share your presentation.
Could you give me rights to share screen?
I've already done that. Can you just try once?
Yes. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start. Good afternoon, dear participants. The National Agency of Investment and Privatization is happy to welcome you at today's events. I would like to tell you about the key features and unique characteristics of our country. I hope that today's presentation will help you learn more about our country, doing business condition, and convince you that Belarus today is a good choice and reliable partner. During the meeting with potential investors from different countries of the world, we often ask one question: why did you choose Belarus? And get the answers based on which we have identified 5 main reasons why foreign investors choose Belarus. These are favorable geographical location, developed sector of the economy, human capital, natural resources, and tax benefits. Let's talk about this reason in details. Let's start with a brief overview of our country. Belarus is an Eastern European country with a compact territory and population of just over 9 million people. Our country is located between 2 major economic unions, the European Unions in the West and the Eurasian Economic Union in the East. As a member of the Eurasian Economic Union, Belarus has access
to... I'm sorry,
to...
Vitaly, I'm sorry. We
Yes.
can see presentation. We can see presentation, please. Slides, just one slide. We can see.
Нет, вот.
Мы видим только один слайд презентации первый. Мы не видим другие слайды.
Ну, у меня как бы все работает.
Да. А F5 нажмите, может быть, на общую. Sorry for the technical issues. We had some problems with changing the presentation slides.
No worries, we are waiting.
And right now, wait. Сейчас видно, нет?
Ничего не меняется. Вы выбрали окно общая демонстрацию или конкретное приложение? Может, выберите общее окно?
У меня как бы стоит демонстрация экрана.
Еще раз попробуйте.
Так, я ее остановил.
О.
Сейчас. Никаких нет изменений?
Ну, есть 4-й слайд сейчас уже, да.
То есть все показывает?
Попробуйте листать.
Ну, там просто идет задержка через как трансляция.
Ничего не меняется. 4-й слайд.
Виталий, выйти, может быть, из режима демонстрации презентации, просто вручную так слайды переключайте.
Ну, они тогда просто видеть не будут ее. У меня-то на экране все включено. Так, ну сейчас, получается, вы не видите вообще ничего.
Нет.
Так, я запускаю. Так. Ну, как бы демонстрация. Угу. То есть у меня как бы все работает. Дмитрий Анатольевич, все так же нету никакого...
Нет, видим только первый слайд. Sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. This is not from our side problem.
Если я как бы...
Ксения, у вас есть эта версия презентации? Может, вы запустите своего компьютера?
Давайте попробуем сейчас.
One minute, please. 1 minute, please.
Can Xenia run the presentation?
Ankita ji, hello. Can you hear me? Yes.
Скажите, пожалуйста, видна ли презентация сейчас?
Да, презентация видна. Попробуй менять слайды.
Сейчас. Отлично. Давайте вы тогда мне будете говорить просто следующий.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for this inconvenience. We start with beginning. So good afternoon, dear participants. The National Agency of Investment and Privatization is happy to welcome you at today's events. I would like to tell you about the key features and unique characteristics of our country. I hope that today's presentation will help you learn more about our country, doing business condition, and convince you that Belarus today is good choice and reliable partner. Следующий. During the meetings with potential investors from different countries of the world, we often ask one question: why did you choose Belarus? And get the answer based on which we have identified 5 main reasons why foreign investors choose Belarus. These are favorable geographical location, developed sectors of the economy, human capital, natural resources, and tax benefits. So let's check all of these information in details. Следующий. Let's start with a brief overview of our country. Belarus is an Eastern European country with compact territory and population of just over 9 million people. Our country is located between 2 major economic unions, the European Union in the west and the Eurasian Economic Union in the east. As a member of the Eurasian Economic Union, Belarus has access to the markets with more than 180 million consumers from Russia, Armenia, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Belarus is a country with a developing economy, has a favorable investment and tax condition for doing business, and well-developed infrastructure. We trade with more than 180 countries around the world. More than 70% of the country's GDP is exported. Следующий. Thanks to the comfortable doing business condition, the state supports measures for national and international business, as well as rational and balanced social and economic policy. Belarus today remains an attractive and reliable place for investment. All this is confirmed by high activity from foreign investors from all around the world. We can ensure you that Belarus is open for investment in almost all of sectors of the economy. What's следующий слайд? Нет, что-то. What are the main advantages of Belarus? I believe that our main asset is a highly qualified specialist. According to the United Nations Development Program, Belarus has a high human potential and occupy a leading position in a human potential index. Belarusians are very hardworking. For reference, average monthly salary now is about 500 USD. Следующий слайд. 98% of population have a professional education, as there are more than 50 universities throughout Belarus. And our well-qualified IT specialists led our country into the top 40 in e-government development index. Следующий. Despite the compact size of the territory, Belarus possesses, in fact, the most important strategic resources, such as fertile soil, forest, and water resources. With the area of 207,000 square kilometers, 43% of the territory is occupied by forest and 40% is agricultural land. Belarus also has significant deposits of water resources. All this makes our country an attractive place for implementation of various investment projects. Следующий. Forests are one of the main renewable natural resources in Belarus. Forests occupy 43% of the territory, and the contribution of the forest industry to the country's GDP is more than 2%. The government recognizes the importance of investments in this industry, implementation of new technologies, and the further development of this area in order to meet the growing demand for these products from both domestic and foreign consumers, as well as producers of energy products from wood. Следующее. Although Belarus doesn't have significant fuel and energy resources, which are most in demand in the modern world, but at the same time, there are significant deposits of mineral resources in Belarus that can be used in construction, energy, medical, agriculture, industrial, and other sectors of economy. Следующее. Следующий слайд. Следующий. Another key feature is a well-developed legislation. Belarus has signed 66 agreements for promotion and mutual protection of investment and 74 agreements on avoidance of double taxation. Since 2012, our country has been a member of multilateral investment guarantee agency. In 2013, Belarus introduced law on investments, which is allied with international principles. According to the law, foreign and Belarusian investors are granted equal rights in terms of business activities. Следующее. One more key feature is that our state offers a number of opportunities to reduce cost and consolidate special business conditions. Here is the list of preferential regimes which foreign companies can operate in. Let's look at them in details. Следующее. Belarus is also known by its IT production, and there is a special preferential regime for that. It is called high-tech park. IT sector has become attractive both for venture investors and strategic investors, as well as business angels. Belarus will firmly establish its reputation as the leading IT country in the Eastern European region. A company can become a resident of high-tech park by placing its business anywhere in Belarus. Residents of the park are exempt from all corporate taxes, including VAT, income tax, and custom duties. The high-tech park residents make payments in the amount of 1% of gross revenue to the high-tech park administration every quarter. Следующий слайд. In Belarus, there is a fastest growing economic zone according to the World Free and Special Economic Zone Federation report. This is the Great Stone Industrial Park. Investors from all around the world can enjoy benefits of the Great Stone. This is the only place in Belarus where you can buy a land plot for implementing of an investment project. Residents of the park are free from profit tax for the first 10 years, and after that, profit tax is reduced by half from the general rate. Investors here are also exempt from land tax and real estate tax. The main activities of the park are electronics and telecommunication, pharmaceuticals, fine chemistry, biotechnology, engineering, new materials, logistics, e-commerce, and R&D. Today, it is possible to become a resident of the park if you invest up to 500,000 USD. Currently, there are 19 residents from Germany, Israel, the USA, and other countries. The park is now at construction stage. Следующий слайд. Let's move to the next regime. There are 6 free economic zones located in all regions of Belarus. They are established for export-oriented production and located in specified territories. Free economic zone provides special beneficial regime for residents, such as exemption from land tax, real estate tax, and profit tax. Today, it is possible to become a resident of a free economic zone if you invest up to 500,000 euros. Free economic zone contributed significantly to the country's net FDI inflows and play a crucial role in export formation. Следующий слайд. Next preferential regime is small towns and rural areas. This can be any location with under 60,000 people living there. Placing a business here, a company exempts from profit tax and real estate tax, as well as custom duties and charges for initial equipment imported for the needs of an investment project. Следующий. Besides the preferential regimes, investors have an option to conclude investment agreement with Belarus. It provides certain other benefits and additional government support to investment project. It also gives flexibility to choose or to request the exact assistance from the state to do business even more successfully in Belarus. For example, an investor may be exempted from import custom duties and VAT on equipment, land tax, as well as receive other benefits that are not provided by other preferential regimes. Следующий. Investors interested in implementation of projects in the field of logistics, as well as other production projects, can take advantage of the newly created special economic zone Bremina Orsha. It is a multimodal logistic platform founded to operate within transit flow of cargo and organize production, assembly, or repair of different consumer goods. Currently, it is being constructed at an accelerating pace. To become a resident of Bremina Orsha special economic zone, it is necessary to invest at least 500,000 USD within 3 years. Следующий slide. This brings me to the end of my presentation. Следующий slide. Dear participants, if you have any questions and would like to ask them right now, feel free to write in our chat, where my colleagues with pleasure answer on it. Thank you for attention.
Thanks, Mr. Zolnarovich. May I now request Ms. Veronica Shevel to help us know more on the regional development initiatives in the country. Over to you, Veronica.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon again. My name is Veronica, and today I'm going to tell you about how an investor can find out about the investment potential of our republic without leaving the office. The most valuable resource in the world is information. High quality, structured, collected in one place, and easily accessible information is invaluable. That is why we decided to collect investment proposals from all over the republic and create a unifying investment database. As a result, by the end of 2018, an interactive portal investor roadmap was developed and launched. What we got as a result? We got an interactive information resource that contains information about investment projects and public-private partnership projects, investment ideas, manufacturing sites and real estate, land plots for placement of enterprises, concessions throughout the country, as well as information about the infrastructure, legislation, and competitive advantages of different regions. The roadmap is used not only by investors, it is also used by government agencies to analyze the investment activity of regions, collect information for reporting, and evaluate the investment potential of territories. Who can enter into information on the roadmap? Of course, we can. Also, we create personal accounts for representatives of local executive committees, ministries, concerns, and state committees to enter projects on their own. There are requests from private businesses as well. Projects get on the map only after moderation by specialists of the agency. Sometimes we ask initiator to finalize their proposal if necessary. Why did we choose this particular division of investment proposals? The answer lies in the way of interaction with investors. In the first option, the investor already has his own project, and we provide him with complete information about production sites, land plots, and infrastructure for his project. The second option involves more time-consuming work to find a cohesive team with a well-thought-out idea that needs an investor for advice and financial support. Since our portal is interactive, its presentation will also be interactive. So now I propose to explore the roadmap. Let's start with the main page. It displays brief statistical data on the Republic of Belarus, for example, GDP, export-import volume, population, etc. Also, you can find statistical data by regions by moving the cursor to a particular one. Next, let's move on to the selection of an investment project. There are a total of 484 projects on the map. They are arranged as a list, as well as clickable icons on the map. When you click on the icon, the site automatically redirects you to its description. You can also search for a project using the criteria block. For example, you can choose specific industry, region, and then choose a project. This map has several levels that can be displayed. For example, you can display education, facilities, business infrastructure, transport and logistics, and engineering communications, in particular power supply. At this stage, you can also determine how far they are from the enterprise. For example, this transformer is around 1 kilometer away. Now let's move on to the project itself. All information is located on the left side of the page. The most promising projects are in the form of presentations. These presentations include a description of the company, a brief description of the project, indicators of financial and economic efficiency, marketing researches, if any. In case of interest, the investor can download this information, send it to the email. For more information, he can contact a personnel manager from the agency through the interested button. Let's move on to the selection of investment ideas. Investment ideas are the same project, but less calculated, without a business plan or feasibility study. The search for investment ideas is carried out according to a similar principle. So let's choose an industry again, and choose a project right on the map. The information block is similar to what we reviewed earlier, with one exception. Investment ideas do not have indicators of financial and economic efficiency. Now let's move on to the selection of production sites. The investor is offered both individual buildings and complexes of property. For example, consider a property complex. In attachments, you can find photos of buildings and a master plan with buildings, facilities, and roads. Description includes technical information about building, detailed information on engineering and transport infrastructure. So we are only to consider the choice of the land plot. Let's say we need an area up to 30 hectares. In the block of graphic materials, you can find photos of this land plot and a scheme. The information block contains information about the location of the site, the total area, cadastral value, information on engineering and transport infrastructure as well. If an investor is interested in several offers or needs additional advice, he can contact the agency in the way convenient for him. For example, via our social media or via messengers, online chat, or contact form. And now the most important question: have we succeeded in achieving our goals? We think we did. On this slide, you can see the dynamics of filling the portal since its creation. as well as the growth of attendance by the number of unique users. The leaders in viewing data on the portal after Belarusians are representatives of the Russian Federation, the United States, and European Union countries. We are constantly improving our portal, its interface, add new options and information depending on the wishes of its users. In order not to miss out on new projects, investors can subscribe to the portal on social networks. I hope I was able to get you interested. Thanks for your attention, and you are welcome to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Shevel. I'm really impressed with the kind of website it is, and it is the process is very simplified for any of the individual who would like to gather information or would like to enter into an investment market. Thank you so much. I now request Mr. Vitali again to brief us on the most promising projects in Belarus.
Okay, let's check the screen. Here, I hope everybody see this presentation, yes?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, and the slide is changing. No.
Everything.
Once again, welcome all the participants of this webinar. I would like to tell you about 10 promising and profitable investment projects proposed for the implementation on the territory of Belarus. In such areas as agriculture and food industry, information technology and green energy projects, as well as projects in the beauty industry and production of organic fertilizers. The projects are ranging from 250,000 USD to 15 million USD. The total cost of all projects exceeds 50 million USD. Let's start with a brief overview of the agriculture sector and explain why this sector is so popular among foreign investors in Belarus. Agriculture in Belarus is a dynamically developing industry. The basis of the agro-industrial complex is crop production and animal husbandry, and both industries are undergoing stage of renewal, introduction of new technologies, and attraction investment. I would like to tell you one interesting fact. Did you know that by the end of 2021, Belarus has become the leader of the world ranking in the export of dairy products? Our country ranks the third place in export of butter, the first place in export of cheese, and the fifth place in export of skimmed milk powder. On this slide, you can see the first investment proposal concerning acquisition stocks of agriculture companies Azeriski Agro and Turovshina. At the first stage, you can acquire about 10% of stocks for 2.7 and 2.3 million USD respectively. Moreover, in agreement with the owner of these companies, it is possible to purchase 19% of stocks or more. The implementation of the investment projects involves the realization of joint activities for development of the companies. Azeriski Agro and Turovshina are large and modern agro-industrial companies specializing in dairy and meat animal husbandry as well as crop production. Let's look at the following investment projects proposed for the implementation in Belarus. The first project is construction of the workshop for the production of meat semi-finished products. Prerequisites for the implementation are the stated demand for fast food products among population and regular consumer demand for meat semi-finished products both in Belarus and abroad. The project cost is 14.9 million USD. The form of investor participation is the establishment of a joint venture. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: NPV 8.4 million USD, dynamic payback period 8.5 years, internal rate of return 13.9%. The second investment project is aimed at the production of dry horse milk at the site of existing company Belcomysprom. It should be noted that this company is the only dairy horse breeding company in Belarus. The project's implementation involves modernization of the existing company, production facilities, purchasing of necessary equipment for the production of dry horse milk. The project cost is 2.3 million USD. The form of investors participation is the establishment of a joint venture. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: NPV 22.2 million USD, dynamic payback period 2.5 years, IRR more than 100%. The food industry in Belarus is one of the most important industries, occupying about 24% of the total industrial production. Belarus has developed production of dairy, meat, bakery, and confectionery products. As you may know, potato is the second bread in Belarus. Belarusians eat it almost every day, and this product occupies a significant place in the diet of our people. In connection with the facts announced above, let me introduce to you the following investment projects from the company iSprottorg. Construction of a vegetable processing complex for the production of French fries. The project's implementation involves the construction of a modern vegetable processing complex for the production of French fries, as well as processing, packaging, storing potato, and further selling it to the consumer. The project cost is 13.5 million USD. The form of investor participation is the establishment of a joint venture. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: NPV 34.2 million USD, dynamic payback period 9.5 years, IRR 17%. We bring to your attention the following projects for the implementation in Belarus related to crop production. This is construction of an energy-saving greenhouse at the site of company Vostok. The project involves construction of a new high-tech and energy-saving greenhouse with an area of 6 hectares, in which it is planned to grow such vegetables as cucumbers, tomatoes, and eggplants. The project cost is 13 million USD. The form of investor participation is the establishment of a joint venture. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: dynamic payback period 8.6 years, IRR 12%, annual profits approximately 2.5 million USD. Speaking about the next project, it should be noted that modern agriculture is impossible without introduction of the latest achievements in precision farming, which reduces costs, automates decision-making, and minimizes human interference in production process. We present the following projects from the technological company Beldrone. Development of automated system for protection of agricultural products by drones. The project's implementation involves the development of a special software that allows using a drone mission to explore fields, to introduce plant protection products, as well as a battery replacement system for drones. The project cost is 420,000 USD. The form of investors' participation is convertible loan. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: NPV 2.6 million USD, dynamic payback period 4.5 years, IRR 65%, annual profit approximately 21 million USD. The project production of electric scooters and automated charging station fully meets the current global trends in the use of electric energy. The project implementation involves the creation of a new type of electric scooters with improved characteristics for individual use and for sharing services. The project cost is 350,000 USD. The form of investor participation is the establishment of a joint venture or purchase a share in the company. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: NPV 4.9 million USD, dynamic payback period 3.2 years, IRR 51%. Dear participants, it is time to present the last two remaining investment projects. The first project was initiated by company Azalea, which has been engaged in the production of perfumes for more than 23 years. The project is called Perfume Brand and Franchise Development. The project implementation involves development and production of a monobrand perfume under a new trademark with the sale of products through the company's own stores and internet channels. The project cost is 250,000 USD. The form of investors' participation is the establishment of a joint venture. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: dynamic payback period 3 years, annual profit approximately 175,000 USD. I would like to share with you one more interesting fact about our country. Belarus has almost unlimited deposits of peat, more than 4 billion tons, and sapropel, more than 3.7 billion cubic meters, which can be used for production of organic fertilizers and soils used in agriculture business. And especially these products will be useful for agricultural companies of BRICS countries engaged in crop production. So the last investment projects from our list is production of organic fertilizers and soils by processing peat and sapropel. The projects involves the establishment of a company to produce organic fertilizers based on using modern processing technologies of peat and sapropel. The project cost is 2.1 million USD. The form of investor participation is the establishment of a new company. The project is characterized by the following financial indicators: NPV 1.6 million USD, dynamic payback period 5 years, IRR 70%. Dear guests, this is only a small part of our investment projects that I have told to you today. Moreover, if you haven't found the projects that are interested in today's presentation, you may contact the agency with a request to find suitable projects for your needs. By the way, if you would like to get digital versions of all today's presentation as well as reviews of the sectors of our economy, please send a request to the chat and fill in your name and email address. In conclusion, I would like to invite all of you to visit Belarus and see everything that we talk about today, as well as to explore the investment potential of our beautiful country. Thank you for attention again.
Thank you, Mr. Vitali. So the presentations and the links and useful materials will also be shared by us post the event, and you can also share the links here in the chat box. We'll be taking up questions now. So are we ready for that?
So speaking about questions, there are some good questions.
Yeah, so I'll just read out a few that I have seen. So one question is asked by Sharmishta from Intendum Consulting. What are the sectors that the government is encouraging the investments the most?
Let me try to answer. You know that basically there are no like preferable sectors, because for government, Belarusian government, every business which is legal is welcome. So of course, like in India, you can't just produce weapon or drugs, but if you do some have anything illegal, you're welcome to country. If we can, if we consider some benefits for business, so of course there are some preferential regimes we presented before, and for that preferential regimes, you could meet some requirements. Your business should meet some requirements to get this preferential regime. For example, if you would like to be the part of the resident of the high-tech park, you should have business in ICT, information technologies sphere, hardware or software development. If you would like to be to get the preferential regime of free economic zones, you should be exporter. So of course, if you create business in Belarus, planning to catch the internal market of Belarus, it's okay. You are welcome. But if you want to produce more and export it to Russia, to the European Union, you are welcome, and you will get some benefits from like tax incentives and another preferences. So of course, it's difficult to answer this question generally. We should understand what certain business, what kind of business we deal with, and of course, we would be happy to answer specifically for all of this question later, having more information about what kind of business and what kind of projects and what kind of preferential regimes we could recommend to you personally. Thank you.
So depending on the sectors, the information may vary. So we may understand that depending on these sectors, the information will be shared, right? The second question we have is, are there any specific subsidies that the agency plans to provide for Indian investors?
Okay, thank you for that question. We could let me say this way. We do not provide some financial subsidies, if you mean that. Okay, but we collaborate with some institutions in Belarusian support institutions like Bank of Development, like Ministry of Finance, and we know about some products and some yes, some supports which they provide, and of course our mission to recommend you for your business. If you can get this potential, these subsidies, we will recommend it for you. So if we try to answer this question generally, probably the sector of agriculture sector could get some subsidies because every country try to subsidize the agriculture sector generally. But of course, if we consider exact project, exact business idea, we could provide you more specific details, more recommends.
So depending on the viability of the project, the subsidies can be decided, if I may understand it rightly. So there's one more question, and that is, how do you plan to help overcome any supply chain complexities during a given project, or it's just the investment that the agency will be looking at, and they are not will be helping in the supply chain complexities, if that is?
Thank you for the specific question. Of course, it's a great issue right now globally. All these logistics issues, supply chain disruptions. For India, if we talk about India, it's not so bad because we have quite strong connections using Russian Federation territory, using access to the Black Sea, to Baltic Sea, and using ocean to connect all this transportation. Of course, right now it's more painful, all these issues, but we keep talking with our businesses, trying to support them, help them, and we can see that now they adapt to the situation and finding many solutions for these problems. So I would say that we can help and recommend many ideas, many variants of solutions of solving these issues. Of course, we need more details about what kind of goods you are going to transport and what kind of transport you are going to use.
Thank you, Mr. Dimitri, for answering that. So I have one question. If you chose not to answer, I'll be okay. With the Russia-Ukraine war around, how is Belarus government working to keep up the investors' confidence? Shall I repeat it?
Yes, I missed this question. Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
I was mentioning if you chose not to answer the question, I'll be okay. So the question is, with the Russia-Ukraine war around, how is Belarus government working to keep up the investors' confidence?
Thank you. Yes, it's a difficult question, and thank you for that, because there are a lot of misleading information about the situation. And first of all, I would like to say that Belarus is not a participant of the conflict. So some mass media, Western mass media, try to persuade that Belarus is a part of, like, and Belarus and Russia are aggressors. It's absolutely false. We are not the participants of the conflict. So of course, it's conflict close to our borders. Of course, it influences on us. And for business, it's a challenge. But the situation, when it started in February, the government, the Belarusian government, demonstrated the strong wish to help business and to unite it with business, with foreign business, with Belarusian business, to overcome this situation. So there are a lot of decisions, very quick decisions, to step aside from some, like, normal rules, normal strategies for government to help businesses overcome the situation. So you could be sure that, if we think on this situation from another side, of course, some investors suffer from that, but what kind of suffer they feel? If we talk about European countries with European capital, with European owners, of course, it's a strong, there is a strong press on these companies from their countries originally, from European Commission, you should stop your business, you should leave Belarus, you should leave Russia, and they do not. We have quite good relationship with them, and we know that they do not like it because they invested a lot of money and invested time to enter Belarusian market, Russian market. It's a big problem for them in our country. So the politicians created strong problems for them. They are politicians. So if we talk about India or China or many countries who have very strong position, do not push on business with all this, do not attract business to political issues. So we have no problems with that because we have a lot of Indian investors, Turkish investors, Chinese investors, and many countries who avoid all these involving business in these terrible, of course, terrible geopolitical events. Thank you.
Thanks for answering that. So we have one more question, which is how the agency helps importers of Belarus for getting credit insurance in those business houses in Belarus. Since I just read it out again. So it says how the country, I just missed it again. Is Deepen Shah around? Deepenji, can you ask the question on your own?
I'll try to answer because if it's about insurance,
yeah, this is about credit
okay.
insurance.
Credit insurance. Yeah. Okay, we have some institutions like Bel Exim Garant, like banks who provide this financial support. Like insurance, like credit lines, and we could try to connect you with our institutions, and but we need some more. So I think that the situation has a history, and of course let us consider it, and we will reply you later. So our team will communicate and get more specific details, and then we will answer. Surely will answer you on this question.
Sure. Since it's a very specific question, I'll ask Mr. Shah, who's also a member with the chamber, to write to us or write to you directly for the answer of the same. There is one more question. If the time permits, we'll be taking it up from Sharmishta. There were some very huge IRR indicators on few of the projects discussed. Once we do further assessment and discuss with our investors, is the government willing to host them and help us do a roadshow? Shall I read it out again?
Sorry, my microphone.
Do you want me to read it? Do you want me to read it again?
Yes, please.
It says there were some very huge IRR indicators on few of the projects that were discussed. Once we do a further assessment and discuss with our investors, is the government willing to host them and help us do a roadshow?
Of course, it was one of our main goals, the this event to next steps, to follow with you with next steps, and to try to continue our discussion about this project. And we are really happy that you are interested in the information we provided. So we will be happy to organize this roadshow of this project, so we could connect you with initiators of the project, with government bodies who are stakeholders of the project. Of course, we can do that. We will be happy to do that.
Right. Thanks for answering that. With this, we come to the end of the program. Thanks for briefing us with all the vital information on investment and how we could facilitate this interaction further. It was a very helpful session for us all. Thank you so much. I'll now request the Additional Director General of BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Rohel Ranjan, for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ankita. I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I extend my gratitude to all speakers for taking out time from their busy schedule to give us an understanding of the National Agency of Investment and Privatization and the potential investment opportunities in Belarus. Thank you for the insightful session that we have received from you. We hope that the trade and investment between India and Belarus continues to be robust and grow unconditionally in the coming years. And BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry works as a catalyst for the same. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I'll now request everybody if you could switch on your camera and we could take a screenshot of the same as a preserve of the memory. Shreya, let me know once it is done.
Sorry, but I can switch on my camera because I have no rights. May you check what is going on with my video?
I've not done anything. I have tried to make you a co-host. Is it done, Shreya?
Yes, everything good.
Thank you. Thank you